This is Thai green chicken curry. It's naturally high in protein, and this one's built around being for meal prep, so it's built for convenience and for storage and reheating. This right here is all of the ingredients we're going to need for today's recipe, plus the additions of rice, water, oil, salt, and pepper. Now we're going to start off with our vegetables. I'm using one whole eggplant, but you can use Thai eggplants if you prefer, and you can also use zucchinis as well. For this, I'm just going to take off the end, just discard this piece. All I'm going to do is slice this in half just to make it easier to work with. That way we have flat edges as well. Now you can slice this however you like, but for me personally, I'm just going to go again horizontally the whole way through. Then once you have those pieces, all I'm going to do is slice this into strips, probably about 4 strips, rotate, and then dice into even sized pieces. What you're looking for is something that looks like this. Now what I have here is 250 grams or 8.8 ounces of snow peas, also known as monge. We're going to snap off that stem and then just peel down the side, and we're going to carefully remove that little vein or stem, whatever you want to call it. We'll just go through and do that with all of these. The reason we do this is because that little vein there can be quite woody and a little bit chewy to eat, so removing it just makes these a lot more tender. Also, if you don't want to use snow peas, you can use green beans as well, even a little bit of broccoli if you prefer. That choice is all yours. Moving on, we'll grate 3 cloves of garlic and 10 grams or 0.3 ounces of peeled ginger on a microplane to create a paste. Both of these can be mixed together because they're going into the dish at the same time. And make sure you scrape all of that out just so we have no waste. Next is 1 little stalk of lemongrass. Now you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can buy it as a paste, or you can leave it out entirely because the paste that we're using already has lemongrass in it, but we just want to enhance the flavor. With lemongrass though, it doesn't break down like other vegetables, so you do need to break it up. And I'm going to use a meat mallet, but you can use any sort of flat surfaced or heavy bottom item just to crush it a little bit. Once you have it crushed, all we're going to do is go through and chop this up, and then just chop this up as fine as you can get it. Like I said, it doesn't break down, so the smaller the better. You can add a touch of salt and use that as an abrasive to go through and turn this into a paste. And you can even add it to a mortar and pestle, add a touch of water and salt as well, and grind it down that way. Just do whatever you need to do to make it work for yourself. All we're looking for though is something as small as this. Lastly, for our chicken, we're going to need 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of boneless and skinless chicken thigh. You can use breast. All we're going to do is dice this up. So I slice it in half, rotate, and then just dice into those fine pieces. And just try your best to keep it all the same size. That way everything is going to cook at the same rate. There will be different cooking times as well if you are using chicken breast, but I'll have details about that in the description below. And with chicken thigh, I do recommend leaving on as much fat as possible because that's all extra flavor, and one of the main reasons why I use chicken thigh in a curry, which I do recommend anyway, because it just maintains a lot of moisture and that fat helps flavor the dish. Once that's done, that's the only thing we need to do to the chicken. In a saucepan, add 1.5 cups or 300 grams of washed jasmine rice, 550 milliliters of cold water, add in a pinch of salt if you like to season your rice. Place this over a high heat and bring it up to a boil. Once it's at a boil, place it on a lid, lower the heat to low and cook this for 12 minutes undisturbed. And I'm going to place this out of the way, and then after the 12 minutes, just turn it off the heat, leave the lid on, and we can come back to this right at the end. Then for the curry, we'll place a very large pan or pot onto our stovetop and get this over a medium-high heat. Now we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of peanut oil or any neutral flavored oil to the pan. When it's hot, add in 3 tablespoons or 60 grams of Thai green curry paste. Add in the garlic and ginger paste, and add in that extra lemongrass if you're using it. Mix this around, just make sure none of it's clumped or stuck together, and we're going to cook this for about 2 minutes just to get those oils to release. But keep mixing it around, we don't want this to burn, we just want everything to become really nice and fragrant. You can turn the pan down to a medium as well, just to cook this nice and gently. After about 3 minutes, you're starting to see those oils release, and this is really nice and fragrant. We'll add in 1 can or 400 milliliters of coconut milk, and give this a little rinse out with water or stock, just so we have no waste. And I'm also adding in 1.5 cups or 375 milliliters of chicken stock. Keep this over a medium heat and just mix this all together until everything's evenly combined, making sure none of that paste is even clumped up anymore and it's all nice and smooth. And you might have to use the back of a spatula or spoon just to break up that paste. At this point, we'll add in 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar, and I also have 4 lime leaves here, completely optional, but add a beautiful flavor. And all I'm going to do is just tear them up a little bit, crush them in my hands, release those oils. It's going to add a fantastic fragrance within the dish. Give that all a good mix around, make sure all of those flavors have become friends, and we'll bring this up to a simmer and just cook it for about 3 minutes for those flavors to develop. We can give it a taste here as well and adjust with a little bit of salt and ground white pepper if you need to. So with it at a simmer, just mix it around for a couple of minutes just for those flavors to enhance. Now after a couple of minutes, those flavors are developed, we can introduce all of our eggplant. Just make sure none of it splashes all over you. And we'll also add in all of our chicken. Now you might be wondering, I haven't seasoned any of the chicken. The sauce can have quite a bit of sodium in it depending on which curry paste you use, so I do recommend cooking this out and then tasting it before you add any additional salt, or even before you add the chicken, because we don't want this to be too salty. So with that in, we'll just mix this all around, make sure everything is coated, just break up that chicken, make sure none of it's clumped together. Also, I'm not gonna lie to you, I have actually removed a little bit of the eggplant. I'm gonna use this in another dish. It probably is a little bit too much, and the final macros will be adjusted for the amount that I've used, as well as the written recipe in the description. So with this done, what we'll do is keep mixing it around, make sure everything's nicely coated, make sure nothing's stuck together, bring this up to a simmer, and we're going to cook this for about 10 to 12 minutes, just until that eggplant has absorbed a lot of that flavor and that chicken being cooked through. There's no need to sear the chicken beforehand. All of that flavor is going to be made with the chicken cooking in the sauce. Now after 12 minutes, you'll start seeing all of the oils come to the surface, and that's exactly what you want. The chicken's cooked through, the eggplant has absorbed a lot of flavor. This sauce is absolutely delicious, by the way. At this point, we can add in all of our snow peas. I'm just going to mix this around and cook this for a final 2 minutes, just to keep these nice and vibrant and still have that nice little crunch, that al dente bite on them. At this stage, you can also go through and remove the lime leaves. They've done their job, they've infused into the dish. We don't want to eat them because they're not very nice to eat. So with all of that done, what you're left with is this beautiful Thai green curry. It's exactly how it should look. It smells fantastic. It tastes correct as well. We've adjusted any seasoning with a little bit of salt and pepper. We can turn this off the heat and remove it from the stovetop. We can come back to the rice, just carefully remove that lid, fluff this up with a fork or a spatula, and what you'll have is this sticky, soft jasmine rice, cooked perfectly. Should have something that looks like this. Now we'll start by portioning out the rice. I'm using 5 750 milliliter meal prep containers here. I'm placing the rice onto one side. You can either just do this by eye, or you can weigh everything evenly and then divide it by the 5. With the curry, I like to use a cup measurement and just scoop out all of the solids, and that way we can portion everything correctly before adding in the sauce. That way no container has something more than another. And then with our remaining sauce, we can go through and evenly portion it out between the 5 containers. So that then leaves us with 5 portions of this delicious Thai green chicken curry. We can allow it to cool down for about 15 to 20 minutes and then place it on the lids. And this will go in the fridge for up to 4 days and in the freezer for up to 4 months. And the best bet to reheat is going to be a microwave for about 2 to 3 minutes, mixing it around halfway through. Just before you serve it up, you can squeeze over a little bit of fresh lime, and you can even add some fresh coriander or cilantro. And there's one thing left to do, and that is we can then dig in. I've said it a lot, but that is the best meal prep we've done so far.